What's going on, guys? Carisha and Leroy here, reporting to you live from the beautiful Conrad Rangali Island here in the Maldives. In this video, we're about to explain everything you need to know about your stay here if you decide to stay here at the Conrad.
Everything A to Z, baby. We got you. Everything. We giving it all.
What she said. First thing you guys need to know is that when you arrive in the Maldives, your journey does not end there if you're staying at the Conrad or any resort for that matter. But specifically for the Conrad, in order to get here, after you clear passport control and customs, you're going to see a lot of people with different signs with different resorts out there in the arrivals hall. You're going to go to the one with Conrad, and they're going to take you to the Trans-Maldivian Airways check-in counter for your seaplane ride to the Conrad. And at that check-in counter, they're going to weigh your luggage, so including carry-on bags as well. So you can't actually bring those along with you. So you're going to weigh your checked luggage and your carry-on bags. And if it's overweight, you're going to pay a surcharge.
And we will have the wait list so that you guys know. But I had to pay a surcharge. I think I had to pay, was it 20 or 30 bucks?
Yeah.
So I was over, and Leroy here hardly has any luggage. It was all me. But yeah, if you're over, you will have to go ahead and get that settled before you depart.
Yep. And speaking of seaplanes, before you depart, you're actually going to get transported from the international airport to the seaplane lounge, specifically for your resort. So Conrad has their own seaplane lounge at the airport where that's where the check-in process actually starts at. It doesn't start at the actual resort. It actually starts at the seaplane terminal.
So since we're at the seaplane lounge, the first topic of discussion is going to be money. I searched high and low, and a lot of people just weren't talking about them coins.
So in terms of money at this resort, upon arrival at the seaplane lounge, that's where your security deposit is going to be taken. The authorization hold is approximately $6,600.
I did want to mention we did not have a meal plan, so no high board, no full board, or anything of that nature. So for us, and our rooms were already covered because we booked our rooms with points, which I will tag that video after you watch this one. You can see how we booked this $30,000 total vacation for very cheap. But yes, our hold was $6,600. They did have a lower amount that you could do that was like $4,000. But we already knew we were going to all the restaurants on the resort and that we were going to blow a bag. So we were okay with the $6,600. So they take care of that right at the seaplane terminal before you even get to the resort.
Speaking of the seaplane, it is not included in your booking when you book it. So even if you book your hotel on points like we did, that doesn't include the seaplane transfer. And the seaplane transfer was approximately $650 a person round trip.
Yeah.
So that's $1,300 that you're going to have to pay out of pocket, unfortunately.
For us, since it was two people. Staying on the topic of money, we wanted to talk about the service charge and the taxes. So there is a 10% service charge that would be added for everything that you do, from the seaplane to food, excursions. The 10% is a service charge that is split between all employees as a tip. There is also a 16% tourism tax that is added to all bills. So if you go to a restaurant and it's $100, then you have a 10% service charge added on top and a 16% tourism tax added on top. That can get pricey, so just keep that in mind. Now, if you like, you can also add gratuity. There's a space for it on your bill. So if you want to add that, you can. And if you wanted to go to a certain person that did exceptionally well, you want to write their name at the top of your bill. So it can really add up, excursions and food, because some of our food bills were like $800 and $900, depending on, where we went. For like example, the undersea, we have a video where we break down all the restaurants, the food, the costs, and then you're going to have to pay that 10% and the 16%. And then if you add gratuity, you'll have to pay that as well. That's why you need a way to make your trip a little bit cheaper. We did a video breaking it down, how much the whole thing costs, and how we booked our entire Hilton stay for $72.
Click that video up here.
Yes. Now let's discuss some general things here at Rangali Island. There are actually 3 islands: Rangali, Fanohu, and then we have an island for the staff. I thought that was super cool that they have a separate island for the staff where they live and, where they eat and can enjoy themselves here on the island.
Yep. And speaking of general things about this resort, it's actually 1 hour ahead of Male.
Yes.
So when you get here, your phone is going to be on Malay time. But in reality, it's 1 hour ahead of Malay time. So keep that in mind when you're planning your dinners and excursions.
So when you set your alarm to get up for dinner or do whatever you need to do, keep in mind your phone is 1 hour behind. So if your dinner is at 7 p.m., your phone will say 6 p.m. So you need to plan accordingly and make sure that you're aware of the times. The TV in our first room was not updated to the correct time, but in our second room, for some reason, it had the correct time. So just make sure you're aware, because you don't want to be late for excursions or dinner or anything like that. Now, also, when you get here, you will get your host. We initially had Jasmine, wonderful host.
Fantastic.
So they will contact you. They will when you get here, they'll give you a tour. It's really a mini tour. We got a mini tour around the resort. She gave us information about the resort. Touched on our menu just a little bit. She kept us updated every day. In the morning, she would reach out to us on WhatsApp and let us know what our excursions were and asked us, if the dining options were still okay. She would give us the menu, let us know was all of the food okay. She would question and ask, was there anything that she can do? We had a wonderful host. I know some people don't get that. So, your host, she was very helpful. She also gave suggestions. And when we get into the restaurants, she will also tell us about cancellations, which is important.
Sure.
And we'll touch on that when we get to the restaurants category. But your host can be very instrumental.
Absolutely. Because especially when we first arrived here, the full aesthetic when you get here, it's just mind blowing. You get off the seaplane, you meet with your host, they'll give you a welcome drink and a coconut. So they'll take you to a little lounge with your coconut drink, brief you on your stay, introduce themselves, give you whatever room number you have, and they'll take you there in a golf cart.
So this is between the hours of 7:30 till 11 in the morning. And
one thing that was really important to me while being here was the Wi-Fi. It works really well. It's really fast. You connect to it using your last name and your room number. I never had any issues. I personally had my cell phone on airplane mode the whole time, and all I did was connect to their Wi-Fi, and I was able to do all of my work because, as you guys know, I have to upload videos, have to respond to comments. I was able to transfer all of my files on my computer, do everything I needed to do. Download, upload, everything. So I really like their Wi-Fi. Leroy here, he must have had a different phone plan that he didn't get me because his cellular reception was really good.
Yep. And speaking of Wi-Fi, it's not just confined to your room. You can use it anywhere on the island. So as soon as you connect to it, as long as you're on this resort, you're connected to Wi-Fi. You don't have to wait till you get back to your room at a lot of hotels. But at this one, you can literally connect to Wi-Fi anywhere on this island.
Now, some areas, the signal was a little questionable, a little bit choppy, it would drop a little bit. But for the most part, during those times, you were so busy enjoying life that you weren't concerned about it. But in the room, it was perfect. And in the main areas, it was perfect. But if you get, a little bit too close to the water, it may be a little questionable.
So, transportation around the island. So there's two modes of transport. So the most common mode of transport is a golf cart. And you can get from point A to point B on a golf cart. And in order to get one, you can just call the concierge desk. If you press 0 on the room phone, you'll tell them where you want to go. They'll come pick you up and take you there. Or you can take what they call a donny between the islands.
So cool, y'all.
It's the coolest thing.
The cutest little thing.
So it's a little way to get in tune with the Maldivian culture while you're here on the island. So a donny is a little boat, and it goes from one port to the other on each island.
Yeah, it's so cool. And also, if you're just out and about, any of your restaurants can call a golf cart for you. The reception can call a golf cart. They're so easy to call, and they're there within like 10 minutes. I think it didn't matter what time of day it was. They were usually there within 10 minutes. There were a couple times where it was a little bit off, but it was understandable because it was a busy time. There is a third mode of transportation. You can walk. A lot of people were walking, that was a lot for me, but a lot of people are a little bit more active than I am. And they were walking, so I don't see nothing wrong with that either.
Me either. Even this resort is quite big.
Yeah.
So you can traverse it on foot.
Done.
It can be done. You can traverse it on foot, but if you just really need to be somewhere, the golf cart's the best option.
Yeah. Everybody, if you come here, you're going to take a golf cart at some point.
Oh, absolutely. No question.
Okay, so now we're going to switch to the room and discuss things related to the room.
So the first thing is about the plugs. So if you're from the US like us and you have, your chargers, they will work here without an adapter. But my wife here had a lot of devices she brought with her, and she didn't have enough plugs to plug them in. So
I had enough plugs, but in some outlets, like by the bed, I think there were maybe 2 where the US plug fit, and then they maybe had 1 where you needed to use an adapter. I need all my devices near me at all times. So I did have an adapter and it worked. So they're not required because your plugs do work, but I would bring some anyway. If you already have them, don't go out of your way, just in case if you have a lot of devices. But there are other areas in the room where you can plug them up. So even if you don't bring any adapters, you will be fine. In order to keep up with your bill, you can turn on the TV and go under My Profile, and you can view all of your charges. And what I like about this tool is it breaks down everything like a line item. So we have if the dinner, if the liquor, then it also breaks down if the service charge. So you know exactly how much each component was. And I think it's a wonderful tool because, listen, these charges add up quick because you're going to need it. So keep track of this if, the cost is important to you. Like I say, I loved it. We looked at it every day and it works. Housekeeping was clutch. They tell you when you get here that they will come twice a day, in the morning and in the evening. I think the guy who was cleaning our room came even more than that. But what I really liked is they come in the morning, they clean, they pull up all your windows and prepare you for the day. And then in the evening, they pull down all your windows and kind of prepare the room for the nighttime. They did an excellent job with cleaning. I mean, the room was spectacular. It was nice and clean all the time. Sometimes you can get sand in the room. They clean all that up. They take all of your towels. Like, I would give them an A1 for cleanliness on the resort, which is really important. We didn't see areas that weren't clean, didn't have any bugs, which I was kind of expecting because, we are on an island. Right. Nothing like that. No areas that were questionable.
Absolutely. And then even if it rains, they'll even bring the cushions from your deck inside. Yeah. So they won't stay wet while they're outside.
They're taking care of the cushions. That was cute.
And this is how you notify housekeeping to either do not disturb or it's okay to clean your room.
Now, just keep in mind, just like any resort that you're at, that the drinks and the sunscreen and the things like that they provide in your room, they are extra, and be careful. So the candy and the nuts and the things that they provide extra, those are, something that you get charged for, of course. The water in the room is free. Now, at the restaurants, you do have to pay for the water. I wanted to go ahead and mention that since we're discussing it. But in the room, the water is free. Now, also in your room, in your closet, you will have life jackets. You don't need to take those outside of the room because the dive center, they have gear for you there. So another thing we wanted to mention about the rooms is for the honeymooners, I'm telling you, they take care of you. If you're a Hilton Honors member, you don't qualify for the traditional honeymoon package. Those are for individuals that are paying maybe full price, which we're paying full price, but we're using points. But you still get a nice decorated bed. But I love the decor. Oh, and we got a nice honeymoon plaque. And I'm taking that home. I'm framing that joker. I'm keeping it. It's going by the wedding picture. It's a beautiful keepsake. So I highly suggest this for your honeymoon. And also, if there was something that you wanted to add to your honeymoon package, you can call the reception and they'll get that done for you. And make sure to tell them if you're celebrating something, honeymoon, anniversary, birthday, let them know so that they can acknowledge you for that.
Yeah, that's just not in the room. It's everywhere. Even at the restaurants, if you let them know it's your birthday, they'll send you out a cake or something along those lines acknowledging your birthday.
Were you there? Let's talk about the food. One of the most important things, the restaurants. So there are over 12 restaurants, and we literally went to all of them except for one. There was just one that I could not squeeze in, and since my husband here doesn't eat cheese, I said, well, this is the one that we'll have to leave off. The restaurants were really good. Some were better than others. The ones that we thought was going to be spectacular were mediocre at best. And the ones that I wasn't expecting to be as good blew our mind. Now, it's subjective. Everyone is different. But make sure after this video, you check out our restaurants video. I'll put a card in here for you. And all videos will be linked in this video because we review and show you food from every restaurant except for one. We'll have to get that on the next round. Okay, so for the restaurants, what I highly suggest, and this is for excursions as well, make sure before your trip that you get your restaurants booked 2 weeks in advance. So also, if you're coming, say for instance, you're coming in June, then the calendar for June will open up the month before on the 20th. So for June, it will be open May 20th. So you will know the dates of the week that each restaurant is open, because each restaurant is not open every day. So you may have Coco Grill open up on Sundays. You may have Sunset Grill open up on Mondays. They're not open every single day. And then the calendar will also tell you your beach dining events, which day they're having those. So stay on that calendar. Get your stuff booked and make sure you do that 2 weeks in advance, because there were people here who could not go to some of the restaurants they wanted to go to because they didn't book it with enough time. Same thing with the excursions. Don't miss out, on the restaurant you want or excursion you want just because you didn't get it booked in time. Now, speaking of restaurants, make sure you pay attention to the cancellation policy. If you cancel less than 12 hours in advance, you still have to pay 50% of the bill. If you cancel for no reason and don't tell them anything and do not notify them, then you have to pay the full bill. So pay attention of those times. Even at 1 hour, don't get caught up. And if you want to cancel, make sure you do it enough in advance so that they're not charging you, because who wants to get charged for an expensive meal that they didn't even get to eat? Not I.
Continuing with restaurants, if you have higher tier status with Hilton, such as gold or diamond, breakfast is free, either at the Vilu restaurant or Atoll Market. We ate at both equally throughout our stay. And
also keep in mind, if you go to one and say maybe you didn't like it, you can't go to the other one once you done got that free breakfast.
Exactly.
But we liked both. We really like both. We talk about it more in our restaurants video, but just really quickly, we thought that Atoll had more options. Clearly, it's more of your buffet, and there's just like a full buffet of food there. And then Vilu, of course, they had less options, but the quality we feel was a little bit better.
And the setting is
both
better
of them
there too.
Oh yeah, the setting at Vilu is really nice because you're right by the ocean. You are at Atoll as well, but I don't know. The Vilu is just more breathtaking.
Speaking of Vilu, that's also where happy hour is held as well, if you're gold or diamond, at 4 to 5 p.m. for Hilton Hilton Diamond and Gold members only.
4 p.m. to 5 p.m. at Vilu. Get there because the drinks are good. We talk about those in our restaurants video as well. But baby, the drinks are hitting, so the cocktails are good. We also have mocktails. Don't sleep on those mocktails, y'all. The mocktails sometimes be better than the cocktails.
Literally. And then at happy hour, they'll give you little canapes for snacks as well to hold you over till dinner. And then they also have a happy hour for half off from 5 to 6 p.m. at Rangali Bar.
And it's for everybody.
That's for everybody. So take advantage of that happy hour if you're Hilton Gold or Diamond, because it definitely comes in the clutch.
So today, the cocktail of the day is, what is it?
Whiskey based.
Whiskey based with orange, strawberry, and mint. Look at this drink, y'all.
Please enjoy.
Thank you.
We are going to enjoy. Let's see. It's interesting for sure.
So we have some canapes. So today we are having polenta with green pea puree, seared tuna with tomato salsa, and chicken spring roll.
Okay.
Cool, thank you.
And there's this is our first time making it. This is what's today? Day 5? First time making it to happy hour. And we gonna make it for the rest of the trip. Let that be known. But the drink it's okay, but it's free, so we gonna enjoy it.
So with the restaurants, if you want to take food back to your room, they're gonna give you a liability waiver to sign. And the reason being is because if you get food poisoning or anything like that,
right,
they don't want to be accountable for that. So
don't be surprised when you get that waiver, because the refrigerator in the room, it's not really one where you can add food to it. They got all their products stocked. And so I guess from their point of view, it's not getting refrigerated, not really getting heated up. Because was there microwaves in the room? I don't think so.
No microwaves. So you can heat it up anyway.
So if you bring it to the room and it's just sitting out, that's a perfect environment for bacteria to start growing on your food. So they don't want to be accountable. So you sign that waiver. They really got in trouble.
Right, exactly.
Unfortunately, got sick and they had to switch up because they don't want to be liable. Now, I'm going to reiterate again. Don't be shocked at dinner and lunch when you get that water on that bill. I think it was like $15 for water. Don't be shocked. Now, it's no big deal. We understand. But I just don't want y'all to be shocked because some people here were. It was like, well, are we paying for water? So like I said, it's free in the room, but at lunch and dinner, they do charge you. I mean, they have to. So, but we want y'all to be informed. We trying to give you all the tea.
And then speaking of don't be shocked that this place is expensive.
It's expensive.
It's very expensive.
So now our bill was probably a little bit more expensive. We have another video where we break down how much we spent in Maldives. That video will be linked as well. But we went to all the restaurants, so our bill is going to be pretty high, higher than probably the average. I wasn't skipping no meals. We weren't skipping lunch. Some days I wasn't hungry, but we had lunch reservations as well. And so, but it's expensive. Either way you cut it, you're going to blow a bag here.
Oh, it's very expensive.
You blow a bag.
I had a glass of Coke. It was $18.
Yeah.
For a glass this big of Coke.
And then
$5
for a pizza. Okay. And then I think at the Quiet Zone, we got a drink and it was like $23. So it's expensive. So we want you all to be prepared.
If you have the opportunity, we highly recommend Mandhu Spa. We had the Art of Love package, and it was one of the best spa experiences that we've had anywhere on the planet. We also have a dedicated video to the spa experience, so make sure you check that out. Ooh. Yay.
Let's talk about excursions. Okay, so like I said, the dive center provides gear at no charge. Like if you're going snorkeling, they provide the fins. They provide a mask at no additional charge. And we actually, sadly, forgot our GoPro. And we were able to rent a GoPro for $65 so that we could get our underwater footage when we went snorkeling. So my first tip for the excursions, book them in advance. There were some people that missed out. Not everybody, but some people did miss out because they did not get their excursions booked and some things were full, so they did not get to partake.
Arrive at the dive center about 20 minutes before, so that way you can get debriefed. You have to sign a liability form. Make sure you get the right pair of fins because I got a pair and they were too big. So
it takes time. You don't want that cutting into your excursion time. If it does, they'll normally extend it, but you want to go and get there early so you can go to your excursion and be on time. One very important thing about the excursions is for a lot of them, there is a 4-person minimum. Mm-hmm. One of our excursions was actually canceled because we were the only 2 people. We wanted to do the local island tour and only me and Leroy booked it. So unfortunately, they waited to see if anyone else would book it. But I think they waited till I remember 10 o'clock. Mm-hmm. Nobody ended up booking, so they had to cancel. Now, we could pay for 4 people. And if it was something I really wanted to do, because if you pay for, 4 people, then it's considered private. I would have done that if it was something I just really wanted to do, but not for the local island tour. I didn't want to pay for 4 people just, so the excursion can go. So another thing with that, there were other excursions that we wanted to do, but I had to think, are people more likely to book this yacht cruise, dolphin yacht cruise, that's all this money, or are they more likely to book maybe a speedboat dolphin cruise that's cheaper? So I had to forego some of the expensive things that I wanted to do and look for cheaper options because I figured, okay, this one may not get booked, so it'll get canceled anyway. But if I book this one on the speedboat, I still get to see the dolphins, but it's cheaper. And I was right. There was a more expensive tour that I wanted to do and it got canceled. And our dolphin cruise, it went on without a hitch. There was like, how many other couples there was? I think there were like 8 people. Yeah. So I thought that was a good option. I was like, yes, well done. Now, like I say, if money isn't an issue, you can do private. And we would have done that if it was like the dolphin cruise. We would have paid, for the 4 people because we really wanted to go, or if it was snorkeling, but keep that in mind. Along with excursions, do not forget about the water sports, okay? So they also have water sports that you can pay for. So like the jet skis, that's an additional fee. Make sure you get that booked if you want to do that. Or the inflatable little board that they can pull you through the ocean on. Then there are also non-motorized water sports that you can do for free. So like
paddle boarding.
Yeah. I think what was another free one? Oh, the kayak, that was free. So pay attention. And so for the ones that are non-motorized, they're from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and you don't need a reservation. If you want to go jet ski or do that little inflatable, we have to do that next time. Then you do need to make sure you make a reservation so that you can get that booked. Also, what I didn't hear a lot of people talking about are the curated experiences. So they have like yoga. You can do tennis match and compete with the staff. They have volleyball tournaments.
Table tennis.
Yeah, they had table tennis. So those are a schedule as well. So your host can give you the calendar and you can look and see if there's something that, you want to get involved with. They have meditation. Now, when you get this calendar, some are free and some are a charge. So for instance, I think like one of the table tennis was free. The meditation was free. The yoga was a cost. So you want to look at that printout and find out how much that is and connect with your host or the reception to make sure you get those booked. Those are the lesser ones that people don't always talk about, but they really fill up and are really popular. So the staff, I did want to mention the staff. Overall, I thought they were very accommodating. They were extremely nice. They went out of their way. If there were any issues, they wanted to make sure everything was right and that you were taken care of. They very friendly. They reach out to you. Like I said, my host reached out to me on WhatsApp. She kept me abreast of everything that was going on for the day. And I just really felt like, they wanted me to have a phenomenal vacation. If there was anything stopping that, they stepped in and took care of it. We didn't have a whole lot of issues. Can you think of anything that really went wrong, babe? Just little small things. Nothing to even really complain about. I think in our second room, in one of the bottom drawers, there were some empty beers. So I let them know. They came and took care of it quick,
The hospitality here is just top notch. I never experienced anything like it.
Yeah, it's been top tier. Top tier. So, our final question. Would we stay at Conrad Rangali Island, Maldives again? And what's your answer?
Absolutely. No question.
With a quickness. I'm like thinking about the next trip back. There was not a lot that I wanted to do that I didn't do, but there's a couple of things. I want to go snorkeling with those whales next time. I would come back in a heartbeat. Like, this has been one of my best vacations. Definitely memorable. I think no matter where you go in Maldives, it's probably going to be nice, but Conrad did an excellent job. I literally felt like I was in a movie being here. This vacation was like blew my wildest dreams. I could not have imagined it to be this grand had I dreamed it myself. This has been phenomenal and one for the books. Like, this has been the best honeymoon ever.
And we did it for the low.
Yeah.
So if y'all want to check out
the video, because who's trying to pay $15,000 for these rooms? I might be able to, but do I want to?
Exactly.
All right. So if you have any questions, please let us know. And check out all of our other videos. We have everything covered about Maldives and Rangali Island from A to Z. How much we spent, all of the restaurants.
How we got here.
The flight over in Q Suites. All right. So we will see you on our next
Non-Stop
adventure.